Welcome, it's March 17th. It's St. Patty's Day. How you guys doing? Hope you're all staying safe and staying healthy during these times right now with the big spread of the coronavirus or the COVID-19, wherever you live and whatever they call it. Just be safe where you are. First message to get that out. Be safe. Wash your hands. Just, stay clean and yada yada. Staying safe here in the garage in Winnipeg, Manitoba. It's still cold out. It got to almost 10 degrees today, but no snow's melted yet. I think with all the cold weather, everybody's hibernating and is quarantined already. It's almost 8 o'clock. I just started a couple minutes early because I wanted to see how things went because I upgraded the computer to Windows 10. And if you guys have joined me in streams before, you've seen how well I work on computers. I've got a few things to talk about today, a few things I've actually just seen on the forum right now, or the forum, on the group right now. I'm just quickly scrolling through it, hoping to get some material. Give me a second. Just gotta find my little, here we are. Okay. My props for today. I actually think this stream might be somewhat useful. We might have some good information today. I see some folks have joined us already. Patrick, how you doing, buddy? Love those green toenails of yours. John, how you doing, buddy? Eric, thank you for joining us. How you doing? And Roy Albert. So we got 4 people. It says 6, but it says 4. So, yeah, it's time to talk Novas and find out in a few minutes. I've got a few things to kind of show. You can't really kind of see it over there, but I got a few things for today. So looking forward to doing this, of course. It's been a while. And Richard Beal, how you doing, buddy? He's just joined us now. And hopefully, again, everybody's staying safe. Just going to wait a couple of minutes to see if more people join us, and then I'll dive right into today's stream. Don't forget, we have the chat right here. Please feel free to chat amongst yourselves and all that. It's not just about listening to me yip yap and yak around. And we got a few people saying hi. Hey guys, how you doing? And John from Connecticut. Well, it's probably a lot nicer than it is here. And Dean has joined us. How you doing, Dean? Didn't see you sneak in through the back door there. Dean Haughey. Hopefully I pronounced that right. Again, I am very bad with names, and I do apologize if I slaughtered your name on the internet. It is honestly not done on purpose. I get nervous, I worry, and then I screw up. So, sorry ahead of time. All right, let's see what my mouse says here. And, all right, a few people are joining us. And this stream is on the Chevy Nova 7374 site, and I do upload the streams later on to our YouTube channel. I do see that I am missing a few, so I will take care of that shortly, and we will update those. There's a few ways you can view the stream after the live session. The video is saved on our Facebook group, and if you get onto the menu there, and I believe on the left, or it'll be on the left side, you scroll on the left side there on the desktop, and you can find videos, photos, files, events, like different, menus. Click on videos, they'll all be there. I've also implemented a new thing, which I'll talk about shortly, topics, where I'm indexing all the posts to kind of be indexed and giving them topics to help sort them. So that might be another way to view our streams. However, when you get the YouTube, if you're watching on YouTube, the chats do not show up on the YouTube video. So that's why I tend to read them out as they're being written. And that way people have an idea what I'm talking about too, or who I'm talking to. My good buddy, Doug Toe, has joined us. Doug, how you doing, buddy? Little subliminal advertising. There we go, right here. For Doug Toe's group, Lila Nova. The group is about a Nova that he bought many years ago that he plans to fix up for his very first granddaughter, Lila. So he's sent me a banner. And I usually have it hanging up in the garage in the background, but today I thought I'd do some subliminal advertising for Doug's group there. And Greg, how you doing, buddy? I don't know why you're joining us online. You should just come on over. We still haven't met. Greg and I are buddies, Nova buddies, and we chat, but we've never met each other and we live in the same city. Hope to rectify that this summer. Okay, if it's 3 minutes after 8, we'll just give it a couple more minutes and then I'll dive into a few of the posts that I've seen. I have to apologize for not being too ready for tonight, so I'm kind of winging it, as I always do, as I've been involved with a little extra overtime at work. So money for the car. A little extra overtime due to the preparations for people working at home during the Corona COVID-19 virus. Normally, those who know me know I like to joke around and have fun, but we're not going to be making any jokes about the virus because some people are taking it seriously, some people aren't taking it seriously. I guess I'm one of those folks kind of in the middle because I'm usually pretty faithful in washing my hands, always keep it clean, especially when I'm going between workplaces and that. So to me, I don't see it as being so much of a problem for me. I'm pretty healthy otherwise. I take my vitamin C and I just have good sanitary practices, I guess you could say. But some people with compromised health and that, it is very real for them, so I do not want to joke and make them think that I'm mocking them. I do have some friends who are very concerned about it, and I am trying to be respectful during those times, of course. Enough about that. All right, let's get back to the chat, and then I'm going to dive into today. All right. And, right on, my backup is here. Tom Bourne, this guy is the encyclopedia for the Chevy Nova 7374. He's also one of the other admins. Tom, nice of you to, or Tom, oh boy, screwed that up. Tim, thank you for joining us. So that's pretty awesome. Patrick's just correcting me here. For the record, David Meyer, the painted toes belong to my wife. Earlier this week, Patrick posted a picture of some beautifully painted toenails that were green and made mention that it looked like his car. So, of course, I scroll onto this post and I see the painted toenails and I see his car. And I jump to conclusions right away before even reading the post, thinking, oh, that's really cute of Patrick to paint his toenails. And before making a joke, thought maybe I should read the post. And it turned out to be his wife had painted her toenails to match the car for a car show and that. So I still took opportunity and poked fun at Patrick for that. Tim makes a joke here, starts the jokes off with the coronavirus. The baby boom in 9 months should be called coronials. Tim, if I had a drum. Okay, it's 8:06. I've done enough babbling for now. So I'm just on my other monitor here, and I got a few posts. Somebody today, earlier, posted about changing a fuel pump. Now, everybody knows the fuel pump has that arm that sticks out. Do I even have a fuel pump handy? I don't, but I have a rod. Okay, we're halfway there. So, when changing a fuel pump, everybody's probably had this happen. There is this thing, the fuel pump rod. And it's in the block there. And usually what happens when you pull the pump out, whoop, slides down. Yeah, I got mine cut off, but there, where's that bolt thing? Yeah. Talk about that in a sec. So, one of the things I always do when I'm changing a fuel pump, and I've gone through quite a few of them in the last number of years, what I do is I get in there and I finger out the problem. I usually slide it up. And then what I do is I take a super wide tie wrap like this and just kind of slide it up and slide it in there to hold the rod up with one hand as I MacGyver and get the pump in with the other hand. That's how I do it. There's another secret. Some people have been known to use grease. Just put a little slab of grease on there and whoop, shoot it up. Or Vaseline. Now, before we make jokes about rods and Vaseline, I hear breaks up in fuel, and that's why I've used it. So you can put a little glob of Vaseline in there, shove it back up the hole. Or the third way of doing it, if you look on the front of your block, which I can't show you because, well, my motor's in the car, you will see there is a bolt. Now, this bolt you can take out, and what some people have been known to do is take a longer bolt of the same thread, of course. Some people smoothen it out. Some people just use a regular bolt. and use a longer one because it goes right through the block into the fuel pump rod journal. That's another way that you can slide it up, tighten the bolt, of course finger tight, because you don't want to, you don't want to put a burr of that on here because you're just going to chew up the galley of the fuel pump rod. And that's another way to get your fuel pump installed. All right. Another person had asked about bullet mirrors. Now, I'm no expert on bullet mirrors because I have chrome mirrors. They were asking about the bolts used on a mirror to bolt them on the door on the passenger side. Again, I'm not an expert on it. I came over here and looked on the Chevelle. And yeah, I can't really tell. There's two bolts that go in from the inside on. I got to take the door panel apart, but I'm pretty sure my girlfriend would be upset if I did that. So I don't really have an answer for you. I forget who asked that question, but maybe one of our other viewers here who, Anthony Reams. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. Anthony Reams was asking, what size and length of screw goes in the passenger side sport-bullet mirror? Now, again, with my cars, I have the old chrome mirrors on my cars. And the bolts I've always used, and here's one of the adapters that you screw onto the door. Hook the mirror on, and then, another screw goes in there to hold down. And these are just, the old machine screws like everything else in the car. And these are actually the actual screws. That's why I got tie wraps on them. So when I need them, I know where the screws are. And this, again, is for the regular chrome mirror. Hopefully somebody can help Anthony out with answering with and if you got pictures, please post pictures of installing the bullet mirrors on a passenger door, what kind of length of bolts and that you need, or how you go about it. That'd be fantastic. Okay, I'm just going to check in some of the comments here because I see they're piling up. Okay, and Steve Smith Sr. Hey, buddy, how you doing? And Tim's just mentioning that he's been called worse when I made mention to his name was Tom. So, really sorry about that, buddy. And yeah, I'm glad you like my rod. As you can see, it does have a little bit of wear to it. It's had some good use to it over the years. Now I'm running an electric fuel pump, so I don't need my rod anymore. The car's been neutered. Okay, Eric has asked a question here. He is saying, what do you think about antennas that are in your windshield? Honestly, Eric, love it. I mean, there's a lot of people who like to keep their cars clean. A lot of people will shave their emblems and, shave their cars because they want a nice smooth look. So the bonus about having the antenna in your windshield is no antenna or a big hole in your fender. Now, I noticed on Shelly's Chevelle here, yeah, she doesn't have the antenna on her windshield, but I know she has the antenna there on the trunk. I don't know. I like the clean look of the antenna myself personally. I'm not sure if that was an option or not. Maybe my good buddy Tim can enlighten us on that. A story my dad told me back before when he was buying the Nova here. He was looking at the Nova and he was looking at a 73 Dodge Dart. Sorry, I don't mean to swear. He was looking at a Dodge Dart. And one of the things he liked about the Nova over the Dodge Dart was the fact that it had the antenna in the windshield. Hey, Patrick Newman has joined us. Hey, Pat, how you doing? I don't know if you've seen yet, but Patrick's car is featured on the GM Classics. I think it's a magazine, or is it on their website? Let me take a quick look here. Let's do a search here for GM Classics because I want to know. Well, that's not his car on the front page there. That's not it either. That's not it. That's not it. So it must have been on a web. Oh, here it is. You go further on down onto the website. So gmclassics.com. Scroll down to the bottom to the latest news. And you will see that beautiful black beauty. That 1974 Chevy Nova of Patrick Newman. And I got to admit, I like this. And the reason I like this, and I know some of you guys are going to hate me for this because, I'm a bit of a purist, right? Original, blah, blah, blah. But I like the fact that they showed a 74 with a 74 and how a 74 came, big bumper and all. I know there was another website there that released a magazine with a 73 Nova on the front, but it had the 68 to 72 front. And to me, you can't really portray a factory car if it's got the swap done. But yeah, you know, I don't want to light up the chat line, and I don't want you guys to, you know, to stop watching. So I'm going to leave it at that. But I really like that look of Patrick Newman's car. It's just all blacked out. A real beauty. So congratulations there, Pat. And Kim has joined us. Hey, Kim, how you doing? Kim's also one of the other admins on Chevy Nova 7374. And she's kind of the admin of the admins, keeping us in line. I know Tim could back me up there. And Rob Axner, how you doing, sir? I know I talk a lot about Rob's car the odd time, or I will tag him in a lot of posts. Rob has a beautiful 74 Nova twin turbo LS. And I believe that car is running 10s at the track on pump gas. Beautiful car. You can check out Rob's car and more on their YouTube channel, the Sweatpants Posse TV, or SPP. I have a picture of their logo here. So check them out. They also have a YouTube show that they do a stream on Wednesday nights, and the odd time I am lucky enough to sneak into the garage. So check that out, SPP TV on YouTube. And Tim makes a good point here, and I was actually going to post this to Anthony, but I didn't want to come across as a bit of a smartass. So the bolts for the screws and the screws for the passenger mirror will be the same as the one on the driver's side. He's got a point. Hey, Rex, how you doing, buddy? Rex is another one of the admins on the forum. So, hey, everybody's here. I guess they're making sure I'm doing my job. All right. Sean Morgan asks, is there a way to watch these videos after they show them live? Yes, Sean, we have a couple different ways. You can view them. Here, let me just grab my laptop. If you go to our forum here, or to our group, can you see that on the left side there, the menus? The sixth one down says videos. You can click on that, and that will bring up all the videos on our Facebook group. And then eventually you'll see, the picture of me and my Nova, kind of, what you're seeing on the screen right now. That's one way to see it. A second way is on the top right, and I'll talk about this momentarily. We now have topics. I've started categorizing messages on our group. And one of them is the Chevy Nova 7374 stream. And third, we have a YouTube channel. The YouTube channel is called Chevy Nova 73-74, just like our group. And I do upload them to the YouTube channel. The only thing with the YouTube channel is you don't have the chats all here. They don't show up in the video. But I do try to read them out so that if you're watching the video after, you'll know what I'm talking about. Okay. So, John, hopefully that answers your question. Tim's welcoming Kim. Whoop, whoop. Okay, Kim did not get the notification that I was streaming. Oh, wow. And Ronald, how you doing, buddy? He got himself a 1974 Spirit of America. Needs work, but I'm cool with it. Oh, Ronald. Let me let you in on a little secret. You probably already know this. I really don't know how much experience you have with cars or whatnot, but they're never done. This is the 25-year project. This is year 25 now that I will be driving the Nova. Yeah, year 25. And it's not done. I know, I post a lot of pictures and I get a lot of comments about how nice it is, but really, yeah, it needs a lot of work. It needs a lot of work. But yeah, by all means, as you're working on your car there, Ronald, please do take pictures and keep us in the loop. And of course, this group is open 24/7 for any of your needs. Sometimes we're all up at all hours of the night. You might actually get an answer at 4 a.m. in the morning, depending who's there. Between all the admins and moderators we have, we are 24/7. Hey, Chris from Nova Scotia, Canada. How you doing, buddy? Trying my best to provide some information. I don't know it all. I never do pretend to. If I don't try to wing it, or I try to find out for you. So appreciate the comment. And sometimes if I do know something, I may go on a little bit about it because I'm just excited that somebody needs help and I have an answer. So how you doing out there in Nova Scotia? Hopefully spring is coming soon for you. And Kim just, you know what, Sean, I'm just going to make a note here. Make a note of his name, and I'm going to send him the YouTube channel list. So that was Sean. Okay, let's get my little list going here. Sean YouTube channel. Again, sometimes I'm able to make a list, and we will try to get answers for you. If I can't, maybe somebody else can. And Tim says, if I remember correctly, it was an option 73, 74 for the antenna. Well, you know what? Let's find out. I'm just going to call up the dealer brochures. I don't know if any of you, this is a shameless plug here. chevynova.ca/73nova is my personal website. I've had it up for 21 years now, back when websites were cool. I have tons of links in a section for references and information. It became an online diary for me because I can't remember all of it. And then, having an Omega, trying to remember both cars. And then you get the girlfriend throwing Chevelles in the mix, and I can't remember. So let me just pull up the brochure here at the end. AM, FM radio, blah, blah. AM, factory installed. Oh, factory installation includes hidden antenna built into the windshield. That's in the 73 brochure there, Tim. So it looks like it's not an option. It is it says available features. But it says here, factory installation includes hidden antenna built into the windshield. Also available are AM radios and rear seat speaker. And I do actually have that rear seat speaker in the Nova. It was a $19 option, $19.95 option back in 73, according to the bill of sale I have. And that's one reason why I've never cut up my package tray to put 2 speakers. I've covered that before, so I'm not going to keep going in unless somebody wants me to keep blabbing. Carter, how you doing, buddy? Welcome. Thanks for joining us. And Tim here, sacrilege. I love big bumpers, and I cannot lie. Tim, I'm there with you. I like my big bumpers. Good place to keep tools, and it's, a place even to sit down, sit back, watch a stream, or even conduct the stream. Can't do that if it's pulled in, but a 74, I could probably lie down because the 74 sticks out. I think it's at least another ½ inch further. But again, what makes my modifications okay and those modifications not okay? So we're not going to debate what's proper and what's not proper. I just prefer my 73 to look 73. But that's all personal preferences. And Mr. Exner has corrected me. His Nova is actually running 9s at the track. I wasn't sure, Rob, and I didn't want to lie and say 9s if it was running 10s, but I know for sure that it was running 10s, no problems, but I couldn't remember if you did run a 9 or not, so I didn't want to BS it. But again, check out his YouTube channel, Sweatpants Posse, and see some videos of that car running. So yeah, Sean Morgan, okay, yeah, he's just saying thanks there, so now I got his last name. Haha. Okay, question. Would an X-pipe make your exhaust sound louder? I do not know. I don't have X-pipes or H-pipes or anything like that in my setup. Maybe one of our fellow Nova enthusiasts here will be able to answer that. I don't have an answer, but you know what? I'm going to write that down because I do have a buddy in the exhaust business. So, Patrick, let me just write that down. All right, H-pipe or X-pipe sound of exhaust. If nobody answers that, I will try to find out for you. Okay, next. That's Anthony's trademark. Shrug, you shrug. Okay, and then Ronald says, oh yes, he will post pictures of his car, but he's not in a hurry to finish it. Got a 73, that's done. So that's right, I remember that. Yeah, you have 2 beautiful Novas. Another beautiful Nova there. But yeah, it's always nice to have one car you can drive and one car you can tinker on. That's how the Omega was for the first few years that I had it. But, after having that car for 15 years now, aside from body work and, getting past my fears, I might actually try to finish that and learn and still give me something to tinker on. However, the powertrain on the Omega is now done. And I've actually been umming and ahhing about buying another Nova and selling the Omega. Yeah, having a hard time parting with it. Rob has just replied, an X-pipe or a crossover usually will make your sound quieter. Good to know. I should actually probably put one in the Nova. Maybe the neighbor would stop complaining. And Tim followed that up too. Oh, Sean says he found the YouTube channel. Right on. And Tim also confirms that X pipes are usually quieter and tapers the choppy cam sound. Well, I love that choppy cam sound. So I don't know if you really want to do that. And Tim also states that he had a Nova that had a fender antenna, but it could have been aftermarket, which is possible. And what do we have here? Patrick asks, so if he has a mild cam, will it sound better as far as the thumping? It sounds like it would be quieter. But it looks like Tim's already beating me to the replies. I'm almost 40 comments behind here. This is actually exciting. There's a lot of people on today. I'm really excited for this. How you doing, Joseph? Good to see you on here. All right. Tim says it's better to never disclose how fast a street car really is. Always advertise slower. Wisdom from an old street racer. And it's funny you mentioned that, Tim, because I was thinking of pulling the license plates off of the Omega, which are runs 13s, and swapping them with the license plates on the Nova, although it's kind of false advertising. Everybody knows it runs 12, but, 12's a big number. 12.0 to 12.9, that's a long distance, but it is fun to mess with people. And I already mess with people with the 307 badges. Hey, Jake, how you doing, buddy? Thanks for joining us. Hopefully things are good where you are. Hopefully you're well stocked on toilet paper, because it's going fast everywhere. And Jake is a first-timer. Hey, right on. Hopefully you'll find this somewhat entertaining or informational. Now, I noticed there was another post that had come up, not meaning to jump topics here, or do I? There was another post here that just came. One sec here. Another post had come in. A few people have been posting about seatbelts, about bolts. Well, I just happened to find a couple that I do have. There are a couple different ones here. This one's one of the front ones where the belt latches around. And then you got these ones that don't have the body. But they are a T50. At least these ones are. Best thing to do if you're pulling these out of your car, underneath the car, find where the bolts come through, spray the crap out of them with some penetrating fluid, maybe give it a day or two, and then hit them with an impact and just kind of shock them. I find with a regular socket set, half the time you'll end up stripping them. And then once you strip them, that's when the real fun begins. So yeah, that is a T50. And if you strip them, I don't know if any of you folks have watched my 3-point seatbelt install video for my Nova, where I changed over my front seatbelts to the 3-point system. So I got retractable seatbelts from Morris Classic Concepts. I had one bolt that would not come out on the back, the driver's side, and the back hump behind the seat. I couldn't get it out, and I made a real mess of this. My secret weapon, and this was the best $60 I ever spent. These are made by Canadian Tire, which is a Maxim brand. In the States, you'd probably find them as Craftsman. They make them too. Man, this was the cat's meow. I had it out in seconds. So there you go. I don't know how well you can see there. And I don't know how well you can see the teeth. Oh, you know what? Let me improvise here. Maybe you can see there. You see, I can't. See the teeth there and boy, this is embarrassing. Okay, see how the teeth in there, it's got like the grooves? Well, you just find the size that slips on right on over the bolt. Oh, I grabbed the wrong one. Jeez, Dave, it's like this is the first time you've done a stream. Okay, here are the 7/8. So you can either, put a wrench on it or an impact, and I love impacts. Just slide right on over and just, boom, ripped it right out. So if you haven't seen the 3-point seatbelt video, I actually have that uploaded on our YouTube channel. But these nut and bolt extractors, well worth the money. Well worth the money. So yeah, these are, again, the seatbelt bolts we were talking about. So I forget who had posted about that. Hopefully you're watching. But I'll probably take pictures and post it again later. And then next, I believe it was Patrick asking about emblems. Now, I have a ton of Nova emblems, and you think I can find them? They must be stashed somewhere in my parents' basement. The only ones I've been able to find are these ones off 74 Novas, hood and trunk. So the two little spikes there. This one here actually, see now, this is where it contradicts. I don't know if you can see, but here on the clips here, it actually pulled the clip out of the trunk. Usually there's like a little clip you slide in the trunk, and then these will slide right onto it. And then you can usually easily pry it out, and then these clips usually stay in the trunk lid or the hood. But then I got this one here that has those GM fast nuts. I can't find any fender emblems that I have, but I do know they are screwed on. I did find a custom emblem, and I think this is off a door panel. I don't think this is actually off the side of the car. No, this is off a door panel, so well, there goes that demonstration. That's two nuts as well, and I believe they're between 3/8 and a 10 mil. Probably the easiest way to do it, as some people have posted, pull out the inner fender. But if you're doing body work, which the one gentleman was talking about, if you're pulling off the fenders, you'll be able to unbolt them anyway. But other than that, if you got really long arms, depending how you want to twist and bend and all that stuff, you can probably just go in right through the openings in the back of the fender there. But I think your inner fenders, if they come out easily, that will be your best bet. And that leaves us to the last emblem, the 73 only. And I love this emblem. This emblem is awesome. This goes on the trunk and the hood. You may notice on some of our hoods, there's actually 3 holes on the 73 hood. I'm not sure if there's 3 on the 74 hood or not, but I remember my original hood had 3, and yeah, this sits right there. And these are bolted on, again with the fast nuts. And yeah, 3/8 or 10 mil, 3 bolts, or on the trunk. I think my trunk one, that one you can pry off, so you just very carefully, again with the pegs. And it, similar to this other logo, this other badge here, where it has these little, I don't even know the right terminology, but it has those little cup things in the trunk lid, and these would slide right in. So you just got to be very careful prying. And they do make these again. I believe it's chevynova.ca. 73 only. And that basically does it for show and tell. Somebody was asking about interior screws, and I didn't get far enough into the post to read about it, what they wanted. I bought one of these container things at Princess Auto to organize, and I went through all my interior screws and sorted them out. I think somebody was asking for interior screws. One of the screws, where are you? Okay, here we are. Somebody was asking about halos and aftermarket headlights. What do you do to put them in? And I uploaded some videos. I mentioned how you had to auger out that hole on the radiator cradle a little bigger so the light will fit all the way through. But the lens itself is a lot thicker. So your rings, when you put the rings back on with the factory screws here, if you can see that, those aren't long enough. And that's probably not the first time you've heard that. So you need a little bit of longer interior screw, and that's what I used here. In fact, I think I used a little bit longer one, and I just used those to screw the ring back in to hold the headlight in. I don't know if I have any longer screws. Story of my life here. But yeah, that's pretty much my show and tell for today. All right, let's go back to the chat, see what's going on, see what I'm missing here. And okay, yeah, we were just talking about Jake tuning in for the first time, so hopefully you picked up some knowledge there. Eric asks, what's the biggest tire that can fit under a stock rear end? Well, my car is stock suspension, 5 leafs. The biggest tire I've been able to fit in is what I have on there right now. Well, no, that's a lie. The biggest tire I've been able to fit on with a drag radial was a 275/50 series on a 15x7. And it's funny, you know, I've seen some stock Novas fit a 275/60. I can't. I can't fit I got a buddy with a 72 and his is stock. He can fit a 275/60 15 on a 15x8, and it's very tight. I can't. Same with the Omega. But the Omega, I also replaced the quarters, and I think I screwed it up a little because I can't really go wider than about a 245, 255/60. But getting back, the biggest I've been able to fit comfortably is a 265/50 on a 15x7. And I got a little bit of room. The 275/50 drag radial I was running does fit, but no sharp, heavy right turns because it will rub a little on the inside. So that's the best answer I have for you. I know a lot of people are going to say, you know, you can fit this and that. And honestly, the best way, and the way I found out if I could fit those 275/50s was my buddy lent me the tires to put on my car, and I went for a drive. Put a GoPro on the fender. I went for a drive to see if the tires rubbed and, you know, how they moved and flexed as I drove. And then when I got home, had the scare of my life because the GoPro camera was gone. $350 GoPro camera. So we retraced our steps and went to retrace the steps. We went back our route, and I found the GoPro camera on the side of a road. And you want to know how tough those little things are? This thing got run over by 2 vehicles, one of them being a city bus, and the camera was still recording. So that was pretty cool footage. But yeah, run over by a city bus, and then another vehicle had run it over, and there was some damage. The suction cup plastic arm was broken, and the case was cracked in a corner, but the camera survived, and I'm still using it today. All right. Getting back to here. Chris, I got original 14-inch tires and got some 15-inch vet rims. What size fronts and backs can I run? Everything original, even drum brakes. Well, I got drums all around too. Here's where we get into fitting again. A 15x7-inch rim on the front of the Nova will rub. Even a 205/75 or a 205/70 on a 15x7-inch will rub. My tie rod ends will actually rub on the tire when I turn and drive along. So I actually have 15x6s on the front of the Nova. My Omega, it's stock suspension, all that too. And it has drum brakes, and it can fit a 15x7, and I have no problems with it rubbing at all. It's really a guessing game. I mean, one thing you could do is look at, you know, go to car shows, take a look at what other guys are running on their cars. If you got buddies with Nova, see what they're running. If you got a really good buddy and he'll let you try the tire on, even better. But that's kind of a hard question to answer for you there, Chris. And again, I can't fit a 15x8 on the back of my Nova because the tires will rub, but I haven't really tried like a 245/60 or that, so I may be able to get away with a smaller tire. So, all right, that's just a chat window there. The girlfriend's checking up on me. Small pins are door panel emblems. Yeah, exactly. And that's what we got here, Tim. Here's a door panel emblem. Here, I thought I had a custom emblem. I know I have a bunch of those badges because I remember pulling a lot of them off at the junkyards back in the 90s. They must be in my parents' basement or something. Because, like I said, I know I have emblems. All right, back spacing on your wheels is key to determining tire size. Now, that is very correct, Rex, depending what the back spacing is on the rim. And what he means by back spacing, let's see if I can pull a tire here. Well, you know what? This is going to suck, people. You don't hate me for this. My tires are all piled up over on the side there. So I can't really pull that out. But you know what? I do have this tire. It's a Ford rim. Let me get a chair. All right, show and tell. Show and tell time. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't have a Chevy rim I can show, but this was handy. Now the back spacing, oh, perfect. The back spacing is where the oh, what's it called? Where the rim, the mounting point will hit the rim, or will go bolt against the car, the router, the drum, whatever. Back spacing is determined by the wall here, the distance between here and this flush point. Now, I don't have a tape measure to kind of show, but the easiest way to measure that, and how I've done it before, is I usually take a paint stick, which fits perfectly within on a 15, which will fit nice and flush on the wall of the lip here. And then you measure with a tape measure all the way to the mounting point. That gives you your back spacing. I think my 15x7s, I think it's 3.75 on my Keystone mags, as well as my stock Steelies. I could be wrong. I really need to write this stuff down. And then I know on the by 8s, I think it's either 4 or 425, the back spacing. But Rex is very correct. Sometimes what you can do is if you get a wheel with a little more back spacing, meaning that the rim comes more inward like this, you might be able to gain a half an inch or an inch of room to put a bigger rim on your car. So that's a very good point that Rex brought up. And Tim, yeah, he says the 73 Nova and trunk emblems are now available new. Okay, Kim wants to talk about bushings. Let's please talk about bushings. Now, I don't have my bushing kits in the house. That's what I forgot to bring out. But here, Energy Suspension. That's where I go for the parts when I've replaced my suspension bushings. EnergySuspensionParts.com. Just go to that and then select your vehicle. So let's select the Chevrolet, let's go Nova, and let's go 1973. And of course, I believe the types of bushings you can get are rubber, polyurethane, and solid. Depending what you need. If you go to this website here, in fact, I gave Kim the link there last night, but let's post it here in the chat. There, I posted it as a reply to Kim. So if somebody else wants to take a look, they have everything there. You can buy kits. Oh, where's my chat now? Okay. You can buy kits for complete front ends, for steering rebuilds, for a front end rebuild package, U-joint package, motor mounts, transmission mounts, and different kinds. You want short mount, tall mount, complete motor mount, body mount bushings, radiator support bushings, body mount bushings, radiator support. Again, kits, like they're all kits, hardware kits, control arm. They got everything here. Wow. So check that out, EnergySuspensionParts.com. Now the only thing I have that I think I can show, let's get that out of here. Get that Ford ugliness away. I do have the motor mounts. But I think what Kim wants to see is body mounts. Now, in my Nova, okay, I'm okay. Oh, jeez, almost tripped. On my Nova there, I had some problems where, I guess with the motor, pretty torquey. I did replace the mounts when I first put the motor in. But I guess with the motor, moving and that, destroyed these motor mounts. Like, I don't know. Here, let me get some light. Maybe the light will help. It destroyed these motor mounts. Like, look how bent those little tabs are here. Both sides. They're just destroyed. So I had to upgrade my motor mounts. And what I did is I went with polyurethane mounts. I didn't go with solid. I believe I had a hard time finding the correct height. But I went with polyurethane mounts here. And the part number for the mount that I'm using here is 3.1130G. Now, I think Kim's looking for body mounts. Unfortunately, I left that kit's probably in my basement. But what it does is it gives you... Oh, look, that even comes with a transmission mount right in there. I guess you can see it there. But it gives you the inserts here, and then you can see those... Well, I guess you can't see them that great on the camera there, but you know, the little tabs there. But these inserts, what you got to do is just grind a bit the welds, or drill out the welds from these motor mounts. And that's why I've kept the old mounts here, because you need the metal. And what you do is you put these polyurethane mounts in here, squeeze them together, and then just, and I just welded the brackets together. And that's what I have in the Nova. Now, when I come around to pulling the motor out of the Omega again, this is what's going to be going in the Omega, are these polyurethane mounts. And I believe when I put these in the Nova, it actually raised the height of my motor very slightly. But that's for motor mounts. I think what Kim's looking for is total body mounts. And yeah, it's best to just go to their website. They have everything there. Okay, well, let's go back here. Nova custom fender emblems have 3 studs. Oh, sorry, I skipped Pat. My 74 is a Nova custom and has the Nova custom fender badges on the fenders. Does anybody know if they're 2 or 3 screws? And Tim has jumped in there to say 3. I thought it was 2 myself, but I'm not going to argue with Tim. Okay, and then, Patrick says it's 2. And Patrick's also stepped up to say that he is running a 275/60/15 on a 15x8 with a 4.5 back spacing. So is that the factory back spacing, or are those custom rims on yours there, Pat? Excuse me. Okay, yeah. See here, Tim has the same problem I do. The Grasshopper, and I don't know how many people know the Grasshopper. The Grasshopper is that beautiful barn find that Tim found. It has 5,000 original miles. I mean, the thing is beautiful. And Tim, if you want to sell that, PM me. It could not fit a 245/60/15 on a 15x8 rim, the right rear rubs. And I'm not sure if a lot of people actually know this. The rear ends on the X bodies are off-centered about 1/4 of an inch to the passenger side. So if you're wondering why you got more room on one side than on the other side when you stick a finger in, it's because the rear ends are offset. Okay, Rex, he's using a 245/60/15 on a 15x8 with 5 inches of back spacing. You know, I'm going to have to jack up my car. That's really bugging me that I don't know the back spacing of my wheels. That's almost embarrassing. Now, the Grasshopper fit a 15x8 with 245/60 R15s just fine on the front. But if you want to run bigger tires on the front, remove the bolt at 12 o'clock in the inner fender. Ah, yes. And this happened to me on the Omega. Right at the very top here is that bolt. Where are you? Ah, there you are. I had that shaved the sidewall of the Omega tire when I was running, what, a 275/15, I think it was. And yes, an excellent there. Eric asks me if I'm running air shocks. No, I'm not. I'm actually just running stock shocks on my car. Monroe Sensatrack. What's the part number? I think I got some shocks over here. Let me see what the part number is on those. I'm running the Sensatrack, and the part number on these ones are 5802ST. Now, those were given to me by another Nova buddy of mine. So, yeah, the Sensatrack 5802T. Do double check that, please, because those were given to me. I don't know if those are the exact ones on my car or not. I've never checked. But, yeah, I'm just running stock Sensatrack blue shocks. And I've had them in the rear ones have been in this car. What is it, since 95, 96, actually. So they've been in there a while. And I don't know when the front shocks have been replaced. So I can't answer what's on the front. But I know on my Omega, I am running those Monroe Sensatracks. Maybe I have the part number here on my Nova page. Again a shameless plug here. Let's go to references of miscellaneous parts information. Okay, see, now here I have, for the shocks that I'm running on my 74 Olds Omega, which is the corporate cousin to the Nova, I'm running the Monroe Sensatrack 5931. And on the front, 5802. So those 5802s might actually be front shocks. I'm going to have to open them up and take a look. A buddy of mine gave them to me. So hopefully that answers your question there, Eric. And oh, it looks like Chris is taking off. So yeah, Chris, thanks for joining us. We'll see you again. Hey, Matt, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you. Hopefully you're learning something here and you're having a good time. Please jump into the chat here. Don't have to just listen to me. And yes, Tim, yeah, I know Tim. Yeah, I know. Damn, a Ford part. This stream's going to hell pretty quickly. I try to, have an open mind to all the car parts. I even have a Dodge symbol around there. Oh, what do I got here? Oh, never mind. It's more 74 emblems. Well, that's disappointing. I thought maybe I found a Nova emblem on my bench here. What else I got over here? No, nothing there, nothing there. Oh, there we go. No. Okay, so yeah, no, nothing exciting over there. I thought I found an emblem, but yeah, no. Tim, I felt bad for the tires. Those are just spare tires for my Mustang in case I ever have a flat or two flats, or I have to move it around when it's in storage. So I just threw a couple junk tires on some spare rims. And I felt bad for the Ford parts being outside like that. And it's been a really cold winter up here in Winnipeg. So I brought them in the garage. And they've been playing nicely with the Chevy. So we haven't had any problems. Matt Baker, hey, how you doing? Matt's still going with the Nixon Nova name. We had a debate there a couple months ago on what are the 7374 Novas called. And a lot of people wrap them in with the 68 to 72s and call them third gen. But Matt's gone and called them the Nixon Nova. And, well, me being Canadian, I have no connection to Nixon or nothing. Well, I'm totally against it. To me, it's third gen. So we've been having a fun rebuttal with that. And Matt's just commented he's been watching you, Kim, and seeing your updates. And use some of them. Matt, if you really want some good modifications or tricks for your Nova, and anyone else, of course, check out the Reborn 74 channel on YouTube, put together by Scott F. from Steve's Nova site, or Steve F. from Steve's Nova site. They're not the same Steve. He's got a YouTube channel with about 140 videos of different modifications and builds for his 74 Nova, which he restored. And that's actually where I got the idea for the clear signal light lenses for my Nova, which is video 113. Check it out. Okay, so Matt's got a question here. I have a question for you. I'm wiring up my starter and have two small wires, but only one small lug for it. Which wire is for the starter color-wise? I know the other wire is to engage for the coil, but I don't need that one now, but don't know which is for the starter and which is for the coil. Matt, if nobody pipes up, I'll have to jack up my car and I can take a look underneath. I don't know off by heart, but I'm sure we can figure it out. And Matt's here. Last year I picked up a stock transmission mount. Just made it easier to take everything apart and put back together. I know, yeah, when I pull things out like the motor and the transmission and that, of course, inspect the mounts. I never thought much about transmission mounts or motor mounts. And when I pulled the motor out and put it back in 214, I never noticed the damage and how trashed these motor mounts were. And I learned a $1,200 lesson on motor mounts by cracking another bell housing on a transmission, and because both were moving so much, also took out my torque converter and input shaft on the transmission pump. So I learned a $1,200 lesson on these $50 parts. Oh, it's stressing me out just thinking about it. Yeah, I always learn the hard way and the expensive way. It's how I do things. Okay, I put back in a stock transmission mount. Actually, I think now, yeah, I'm running the polyurethane mount on the transmission on my Nova 2, but yeah, can't go wrong with stock. The Omega's still running stock in it. And that motor is cranking 274, 297 at the rear wheels. Okay, Kim has replied to Matt about that starter. That's awesome, Kim. Thanks for jumping in there. She believes the wire is purple, and I think she's correct. I think the yellow one is the one that went to the distributor or with the, was it maybe the positive terminal on the ignition coil if you had a points distributor? Oh, I can't remember, because I converted to HEI almost 20 years ago. Hey, Steve has joined us. Steve, how you doing, buddy? Steve, actually, he has an Omega. He's got a 74 Omega that he's painting and redoing right now. And Steve, I haven't seen any updates on it. How's that Omega coming? All right. Matt's telling Kim that she will need spacers for the front body mount bushings. You will need to fabricate. I believe that was brought up in the posts. I don't know, Matt, if maybe it was your post or somebody was posting when changing body mounts out. The difference. Now, I don't know if you need to make a mount or if you might be able to get away with getting some big, thick washers. You might be able to get away with that for spacers. But I'm not going to argue with Matt because I think maybe he's done it and I haven't. At least not on this car. I changed them on the Omega, but I think I just used rubber ones, so spacing wasn't a problem for me. All right. Okay, Matt's got another question here. Does anyone know if you over-tighten the pitman arm to the steering box, if that impacts the steering or makes it harder to steer with the weight on the tires? Does it matter? That's a good question. Now, when I put mine on, of course, I went with torque specs from the manual. And then, of course, after I'm done that, I give it that little extra, I don't think it does, but there's also that adjusting nut on the top for the plate. But if that adjusting nut is adjusted too much, that can affect the steering, like how loose it is if it turns back or whatnot. I know my old box, I had the steering nut on the top over adjusted, and it made, like, when you turn and then you let it go and it spins back, well, it wasn't spinning back. It was like too hard. It made it harder to turn. So that's a good question, Matt. Hopefully somebody, Tim, can answer that. And Tim, huge correction. I was indeed wrong. I just checked the Grasshopper, and indeed the Nova and the custom emblems are separate emblems. Yes, they are. That I didn't know. Okay. And the custom emblem only has 2 studs. Tim, I can admit, man, that's big of a man to admit when he's wrong. I do it too. I make mistakes too. It's not that you were wrong here, Tim. You were just misinformed. So you still are, right up there in my books with being the man with the knowledge. So yeah, don't worry about that, Tim. We all make mistakes. But like he says, the Nova fender emblem would have 2 studs. I'm just pretending this is the fender emblem. 2 studs, and then that custom emblem will have 2 as well. And maybe I might be able to, I'm going to have to look at my parents' place. I bet I have a can in my dad's workbench at his place with all my old Nova emblems. And yes, Tim, yeah, if they are cold, bring them in too. And hey, Dale Simonson has joined us. Hey, Dale, how you doing, buddy? And Tim just wants to further clarify the fender emblems. The Nova has 3 studs. The custom has 2. I visually checked both sides of the Grasshopper. And what else? So 5 studs total. Yep. And hey, Keith, how you doing, buddy? Well, thanks for the comment. I most nights I'm just winging it here, and thankfully other members pipe up to correct me when I'm wrong. So yeah, please feel free to join in the chat, of course. And Ray Williams from California has joined us. Hey, Ray, how you doing? How's that Nova running? And I know Ray, he runs I believe it's a Phytech fuel injection system. He put that in a couple months ago. Just wondering, Ray, how's that running for you? How do you like that Phytech? As many people know, as I've talked about, I am running Holly Sniper EFI with the dual sync distributor in my Nova. This will be year 3, and I love it. If the Canadian dollar ever gets better, or gets close to par again, which I don't see happening in the next few years, I may even put one on the Omega. And I know Shelly's been eyeing one up there for her 565 big block Chevy. All right, okay. It looks like we have covered all of the comments. And one thing, and I was going to talk about this a little sooner. Okay, give me a sec here. Let me just close this, close this, close this, close this, and scroll up. Now, I talked about topics earlier in the stream here. And what I did earlier this week, and I'm kind of bad because I really should have talked this over with everybody, but I went ahead and did it. When you go to post a message now, oh, come on, don't make me look like a liar. Oh, now why is it different on my laptop than on the computer? Although this is going to upset me a little. Or did they turn the thing off? Ah, here we are. Okay. Nope. Okay. Now, on my computer, I don't know. Okay, here we go. So in the posting box, I don't know if how you can see that. Or if you can see it. Okay, I know if I tilt it upwards, it glares out. But when you go to enter a post here, there's a new field along the bottom here that says Add Post Topic. Now, what the topics allow us to do is to kind of categorize and index the posts to make for easy searching. And then when you're on the computer searching in the forum here, when you first get on, or the forum, I'm so old school, forums were like, 10 years ago. When you get to the group here, you'll notice on the right, popular topics in posts. And I've just created a few generic ones right now. I created one for the Chevy Nova 7374 stream. I created one for Holly Sniper. The 74 bumper topic, or bumper tuck topic. I created one for just regular EFI. Midwest Nova Kings, because some people want to show off the work by Midwest Nova Kings or talk about their cars, which were done. So Midwest Nova Kings, we made a topic for them. I made a generic one called Side Shot Sunday, just for if you want to see just pictures from Side Shot Sunday, tag it in there. And then I started one with spark plugs. So I've been going through some of the old posts and adding topics, and where you can see, if you want to see stuff that's just related to those particular items, you would click on them in the topics area right here. But when you're making a post, when you go to type here, just type whatever your post is, and if you want to create, you don't have to, but if you want to create a topic and index it or add it to an existing topic, you can do that under here, under Add Post Topic. Click on there, and it will give you a list of what's already there, or you can create a new one. So I'm trying that out for now, and then you can see under the posts, when you're reading through and scrolling through the posts, underneath the name, you see the time and date that it was posted, and on the right, you'll see a little tag that says if it belongs to a topic or not. So that's one way to make easy sorting of posts on the group. So I'm trying that out. I'm hoping people are going to like it. I haven't really talked to the other admins and moderators about it, so I'm going to kind of just moderate it on my own. I'll just be adding topics as I see fit, I guess, or as I think things will pertain to those topics. And if it works well, hey, jump on board. If you don't want to use it, nobody's forcing you to. All right, I got a few more comments here. Holy crap, it's already been an hour. Woo. Okay, Kim mentioned, hey, that Summit EFI system I sent you has Phytech stamped on it. Well, that's good to know. Actually, Kim, I did call it up and I looked at it, and then I got super busy at work today because doing preparations for the people working at home because of the COVID-19 virus, and it's there's a lot of scared people at work, and a lot of people, because they're closing damn near everything, people need to work at home. And so my job at work was to get some laptops ready so people could work at home. So I never really got a chance to further investigate it, but pretty cool. Okay, now Tim has replied to himself. Okay, this is weird. David's emblem clearly has two studs on the Nova emblem. Okay, whoa. This was a hood emblem that I was hiding the Chevy symbol. Your other one, I believe you are correct. You know what? Let me take a look. Oh, I should talk about this right away, too. Okay. Oh, you know what? Oh, okay. Now it's my turn to make a correction. Now it's my turn to make a correction. You cannot access those fender bolts or the emblem bolts from the holes here. I thought you could. No, you cannot. Well, I'm going to have to go back on the group tonight, find that post, and correct myself before I look like too big of an idiot. So basically, maybe you can go from underneath. Oh, can you go from underneath? I think the easiest way is going to be to pull the inner wheel well. Oh, no, you're not going to get to it from underneath. Yeah. Either pull the fender or pull the wheel well. That's how you remove the emblem. All right. Next. Look at that. Tim has just jumped in again. Today is the Grasshopper's birthday. Happy birthday, Grasshopper. And hey, green on St. Paddy's Day too. How about that? Okay, Matt says he will try the steering box adjustment that, I mentioned. My new steering box turns hard but does not return to center easily. That's what I do. And Matt, when you're going to do that adjustment, you got to, there's like a slotted screw kind of there. So you take the screwdriver, put it in, and loosen the nut, and then you turn the screw, and then you use the set nut to tighten it. Please note how much you're turning that screw. In case you have problems, you can always turn it back to how it was. And when I had to get a replacement steering box, I went to carsteering.com, and the nice folks at carsteering.com actually waived the core charge for me up in Canada because of shipping costs, which was very cool and very nice of them. But that was back in 2012 that I replaced that steering box because I had so much slop in my old one, even after adjusting that nut. But I do believe you can get rebuild kits for these steering boxes now. But somebody please correct me if I'm wrong. All right. All right. And Kim, she needs to replace her rag joint. Carsteering.com, I believe, sells rag joints too. That was one thing I didn't replace when I put my box in. I did not replace the rag joint because even the the original one I had in looked a lot bigger and beefier than the replacement one I got. And for that very reason, I never replaced mine. And I don't feel I have any problems with my steering in terms of play or that I'm really worried about a rag joint. And I don't think I've ever really heard of a rag joint wearing out, but... Oh, Carson just typed in to say that he had to trade his Nova for toilet paper. And the Corona jokes continue. Well, I was going to say, if you run out of toilet paper, I got a box full of napkins here. Yeah, here we go. We got a bunch of napkins here. We got some from Swiss Chalet, Tony Roma's Pizza Hut, and Garwood Grill. So I got plan B if something happens. Put back my Chevy Nova banner. Again, this is a group of a fellow member, Doug Toe. A group about him building a Nova for his very first granddaughter. And I'm in the min there too. Okay. Tim says visually access the front fender emblems from the door jamb, but it would be a nightmare to actually remove and install them from the door jamb. Well, I'm not going to argue with Tim. Tim knows his stuff. Yeah. Just pull the damn inner fender. Enough on that topic. All right. Okay, Roy is chimed in here. Matt is absolutely right about the front body mounts needing spacers and additional washers. I had a shop install the Energy urethane body mounts. They did not do that, so when they torqued down the front body mounts, the fenders stretched and now the concave cupping all along the top, the surface of the fenders. Oh, Roy, I'm sorry to hear that. That's that's one of those things where you know it's there, but nobody else knows it's there, and it just I can relate, buddy. I can relate. The car Nova virus. It causes the ability to own only one Nova. Does other X bodies count in that, Tim? I might have a variation of that virus, like the CarX body virus or yeah, okay. I'm not good with jokes, not all the time. But you know, maybe it was Roy who posted that earlier about those body masks. I know somebody posted that and mentioned that in the group. I know somebody did cover that. I wish I knew who, so we could give them credit. Maybe that might be a topic now. I might go through some of the posts and look for body mounts. But yeah, I know the old girl. I might have to do that one time. You know, oh, she needs so much work. I just don't know. I just don't know. All right, folks. Well, it's been 70 minutes. I see the comments are slowing down. So let's do a round table here. Anyone want to pipe up or something to say before we call it a night? Oh, one comment. Here we go. Comega virus. There we go. And Roy says, for sure, my car needs paint in the next few years, but I have to correct the damage. Yeah, I feel for you there, Roy. I know my car needs a lot of work. It needs rear quarters. It's going to need inner outer wheel wells, trunk drop pans, lower door skins, and yeah, paint for sure. I mean, I'm looking at it between 20 to 30 grand of body work if I take it somewhere up here. I'm not a body man, and I'm not going to try. I've already done that once. I did rear quarters, half quarters, and wheel wells on my Omega. And, well, I guess it couldn't have been that bad. I mean, the car's still on the road, and it's been 15 years. But there was a lot of things I should have done, which we did. After we put the Omega on the road, Super Chevy put out a magazine, The Do's and Don'ts of Backyard Bodywork. And I'm very embarrassed about how much of the don'ts I actually did. And, I mean, I don't know anything, and I don't pretend to. And it actually makes me quite sad. I feel like I pieced the car together, like I junked it together. And that's probably one reason why I have a hard time selling it. I have had people offer to buy the car, but that is one reason I'm having trouble selling it, is because I know the work that's been done, and I have shown people the pictures, so they know right up front, hey, this is what you're buying, but it's not right. And maybe one day, if I get flushed with money, I may redo the car, or I may just, pull the powertrain and put it out of its misery. Time will tell. And Matt did that with others. And then Roy Tim said, Roy, if the shops supplied the mounts, they need to make it right to you. That is true. That is one thing to say. It's another thing to try and get a shop to admit that they have made a mistake, because then they're liable for all the damages that have occurred as a result of it. Yeah, that's tough. Yeah. I really feel for Roy, because I know there's some things here. I know I have some things on my car that people are like, oh, and I'm like, no. Yeah. And Tim, I appreciate the encouragement. You can do this. Install your own. I've done it before. I'm just too old and lazy now. Tim, I've got so much sentimental. I don't want to swear because people are watching, younger kids and stuff, but I got so much sentimental BS, attachment of love, whatever you want to call it, to the car. I grew up with this car. I mean, I was the only kid in grade 1 who had his own car. My grandpa used to tell people, this is Dave's car. I was 6 years old. I had my own car. To cut, and if I made a mistake and wrecked the car as a result, or I can't do it. I can't cut it. I can't cut it like that. If I could have the money, I'd get somebody to do it. I can't do it, man. I can't do it. Not this car. Yeah, Pat, you're right. Do a little at a time, but again, knowledge. And yeah. Okay, Matt said he started a body mount topic. Right on, buddy. What we'll do is we'll actually put it in an index, so it'll show up there on the top right of the screen, as I just talked about earlier. So thank you, Matt, for doing that. And Pat is just confirming that Tim is getting old. And last but not least, it was brought up in the post about the stream. Tim wants to talk about the meaning of life. Oh, where do I start? First, to have a good life, you need a Nova. And we'll continue that chat at another time. So I'm going to wrap it up here and bid farewell. So if everybody wants to take a moment to say goodbye to everybody in the chat group. And Tim, yeah, I know you're right. It is metal. Mistakes can be fixed. That's another topic we'll cover after the topic of the meaning of life. So, yeah, a little glazing putty will fix any fender, or will fix his fender issue. I know the Omega needs a good light coat of glazing putty to fix all of it. But you know, it's like people say, nothing money can't fix, right? But I'd rather do it right the first time. So in saying that, folks, again, you know, wherever you live, wherever you are, safe. Be clean. Don't take this Corona COVID virus 19 virus too lightly. I mean, you know, it's not the end of the world and all that, but I mean, there's no need to go out and buy everything you can see in the store. The world is not ending. I mean, do take it a fair bit seriously. Wash your hands. Don't touch your eyes. Don't lick the poles on the bus, and you should be just fine. So, I'm David Meyer. I'm one of the admins of Chevy Nova 7374, and I bid you good health. Smoke tires, not drugs. Have a good evening.